Hello everyone, and welcome to this unboxing video for Arkham Horror the Card Games, The Dream Eaters. This is the 5th expansion to the Arkham Horror the Card Game LCG. So, time for some new investigators and such. Also, this is the first time that I'm getting to an expansion when I've actually played through all of the previous expansions. Although I still have yet to play any of these standalone scenario packs, not the point. And we didn't succeed on the Circle Undone. We failed on the last mission. Oh boy. We were barely making it through half the stuff anyway. We did more gimmicky characters. So, let's get to this. Again, just like with the past few, I'm aware of the new investigators and what they do, and I am looking forward to them. And also, there was the cats. That article was hard to miss. 'Cause kitties. Alright. So, like always, it looks to be a few packs of cards. 3 again. Small cards are also in there in a bag. And a rule book, which, again, I don't remember which one it was, is kind of jammed up in there and got kind of... But, oh well, could be worse. Oh, okay. So as for new rules, there looks to be one here at least. And there's a giant wait thing beforehand, which with a quick read is, do not construct your deck until you've read the prologue. Alert and story cards seem to be restated, but Myriad is a new thing. Bonded is also restated, as is Hidden, and the swarming mechanic is new, and there's something about new weaknesses specifically stated. The set icon is a cat. Yeah, kitty. Looks like we're back to a scenario 1A and 1B, like in the Dunwich Legacy. Alright, so let's see if I can get this even remotely right. Again, I'm not going to bother showing off the small art cards because it's the same art usually that's on the investigator cards. I think we're getting 6 this time. Maybe only 5. No, it would be 5 because that's usually what it is for the odd expansions. Yeah, it looks like they did the same thing they did last time where for some reason the investigator cards are not with the player cards. So I'll get to those later. Seems like this one might be better to start with first in terms of organization. Oh, these are so much easier to deal with than the last unboxing video I was doing. The plastic wrap, that is. Alright, and yeah, so the investigators are here. So, we've got some sets of treacheries. We've got one that's 4 cards, 2 and 2, with a bull-like symbol for the icon. Then we've got some tentacle face thing, and I'm guessing it's the Zog set, because everything literally has the word Zog in it. And that looks to be a Zog. Then we've got the investigators themselves. I'll get to those in a second. I'm going to finish with the treacheries and scenarios first. And then we go right into our first scenario, Beyond the Gates of Sleep. Also, if this is all there is for the separate encounter sets, it's going to be interesting, because it's just 2 of them, and they're minimal cards. So we've got the standard card here for Beyond the Gates of Sleep, which has stairs for an icon, and 1 agenda. With a passed out dude. And a 19 threshold. I'm not even reading the rest of that. And then 4 acts. Remember, agenda bad, acts good. We got 12 locations, 7 of which are all just the enchanted woods on their backs. Interesting. And then a pair of unique enemies. Then we go into the Waking Nightmare, which does split partway into this, I think. So that's the other scenario with 3 agendas and 3 acts. Ugh, that doesn't look pleasant. And 8 locations with all but, I'm guessing, the starting card are all the hallway icon, but they're not all named the same. They're not even, like, paired off. 3 of them are the basement door, and then the rest are all different. And then something that looks like a main card on one side and a story on the other. I'm not even going to get further into that. But the icon is the a version of that medical symbol with the snakes around the staff. And I point that out because that's how I can tell there's more in this pack. Also, this has a lot more treachery, so I'm hoping that there's more individual sets in here. Oh, now I remember, the decks are usually separated in the main expansion ones. We've got some player cards that come with the scenario. Oh, with a character ally. And then, I'm not even going to, like, explain them, but we've got Mystic cards with Treachery backs. There's a pair of them. And we've got the... that's interesting. So I don't know why this pack started off with the icon for the second set, because there's more over here, including another ally. Although that one does have a Treachery back. We've got 4 cards to go with the first scenario, and 7 cards to go with the second. Then we get into some other encounter sets. Okay, this makes more sense with 4 from one that has a web. Then 4 from another that has something that reminds me of Slender Man, but with a crown, sort of. It looks like humanoid with 6 arms and a crown. This one's a closed eye with some stuff above it. It's 3 of the same card. Then a Screaming Demon Face. 4 of those, 3 of which are the same. I don't even know what that icon is. It looks like it's meant to be a drawn eyeball with a cross over it. And it's not even like a cross over the eye, like the cross starts up here and ends down here. There's 6 of those. 3 different cards, each with 2 copies. Then what looks like a somewhat of a ancient cross of sorts. Not a Christian cross like I meant for the other one, but yeah, I really don't know. And there's 4 cards of that. 2 different cards with each 2 copies. And the next set has an icon of, honestly, a bunch of different birds flying in a pattern with 6 cards. And finally, what look like crab spider things. And this looks like where the swarm effect comes into play. And there's 6 of those. Most of them are monsters. So that's all the scenario and treachery stuff. Whee! Including those 2 mystic cards that have treachery backs. And they definitely were not cards you could get. They didn't have a level pips to them or anything. Unless they're attached, unless they're bonded to another card. Because bonded's back in play. Which I really like. But I'm really looking forward to the red one. Which is cats. Alright, so got the player cards open, but let's get to the investigators first. One of which has a location! All to himself. We've got Tommy Muldoon, the rookie cop, who, last I remember, has to do with a lot of assets and stuff like that. He has ways of getting resources back when things die. Mandy Thompson, the researcher for Seekers. She makes you want to dig in your deck a lot. Tommy Morgan, the bounty hunter for Rogues. He puts bounties on things, from what I remember. Luke Robinson, the dreamer for Mystics. And he has his own location called the Dream Gate, which both revolves around his positive and negative stuff. Basically, he has his own location and can screw with things from there. And lastly, we have Patricia Hathaway, the violinist for Survivor. She will cycle her hand every turn. You will discard your hand. Also, you can only have up to 5 cards in your hand. So, then we get on to the player cards, including weaknesses and signature cards, which we'll start with that. Alright, so first Tommy's, we've got Becky and Rookie Mistake. Becky is his gun, by the way. I know this from when he was in Mansions of Madness. Then we have Mandy's. She actually gets 3 signature cards and 1 weakness. The 3 signature cards are all the same, because she's got a variable deck size, 30, 40, or 50, and for each of those increments, you have an extra card. So, huh? I was honestly really surprised when it wasn't also there are 3 copies of the weakness. Then for Tony, we've got also 3 signature cards and 1 weakness, but they're not the same. We've got bounty contracts, which is primarily what it revolves around. And then unlike a lot of the investigators who have had a pair of dual-wielded pistols on 1 card, he actually has 2 separate pistols. and I believe benefits from having them both in play more than just one. And Tony's Quarry being the weakness, which is a deep one. Yay! Luke Robinson's got the Gate Box and Detached from Reality. Reminds me of the Robin Williams movie that I can't remember the name of. And Patricia has her violin, you don't say, and Watcher from Another Dimension for her weakness, which is hidden and really interesting from what I recall. Now, those are the only cards, minus the cats, that I know in any detail. So, let's get to things that will be a lot more of a surprise. And even then, I don't remember the cats in great detail. Now, the one that caught me off guard just before getting to... Okay, as I get caught off guard by the following thing, just before getting to the investigators, is the Hungering Blade for Guardians. Now, the reason it caught me off guard is not only does it have bonded cards, even though Guardian had one of those last expansion, they're all weaknesses. And it is called Bloodlust. Yay, murder. Then we've got stuff that's not bonded, although it has the Miriam keyword to it, so that might be the reason. It made me to have a double take, because there's 3 copies of Solemn Vow, also for Guardian. But the following cards, being Seeker, do the same thing with Segment of Onyx, also Myriad. Then they have a new bonded card as well. Is everybody going to have a bonded card? The Pendant of the Queen. Now, mind you, I really like the bonded cards and how they work. And the cards that come with it are not weaknesses. Astounding Revelation. Then the card that I have not been able to avoid the image of, it's even on the back of the box. Crystallized Dream. A normal standard 2 copies of. That, I'm guessing, have bonded weaknesses to them as well, but individuals. Of the Guardian of the Crystallizer. Spooky, spooky, spooky. Then it's Myriads, which, again, there are 3 copies of. I wouldn't be surprised if the keyword Myriad means you can have 3 of it in your deck. And after a quick glance at the rules, while it's got 2 parts to it, the first part is yes, you can have 3 copies of it. And Rogues is easy mark. Then we've got a Mystic card that literally says on it max twice per game. And again, that's per scenario, not for the whole thing, which is more relevant with remove from game. Stargazing. And then their Myriad card is Open Gate. Then on to Survivors, we get to the Cats, which is their bonded card of Miss Doyle. And unlike all the other bonded cards, it's 3 separate ones of Hope, Zeal, and Augur. They're Dreamland Cats. Which is just, okay, that's awesome. And then their Myriad card is Fortuitous Discovery. And then, before we get on to the weaknesses, I've got another scenario player card that's an ally. From the first scenario, not the second one. What's with the organization of these packs? And then, lastly, because there's no neutral cards for once in an expansion, at least I think for once, we've got 4 new, 1 copy of each, basic weaknesses. Self-centered, Kleptomania, Narcolepsy, and Your Worst Nightmare. I like that the first 3 are, basic actual problems instead of just some crazy shit or internal bleeding. Not that that can't be an actual problem, but... Nope. All 4 of these say multiplayer only. I was trying to read Kleptomaniac and then noticed that and wanted to check the others, but I'll save that for in my own time. Regardless, that's everything for now. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to press that like button. If you think somebody else will enjoy this, feel free to share this video. Either way, you'll help this video get seen more. If you didn't like this video, go ahead and press that dislike button. I won't mind, but please leave a constructive comment as to why. Also, feel free to comment in general, such as if you want to see me do any playthroughs about this. I've already done a review, you can always watch that, but if you want to see me do any reviews on any of the expansions, how to play guide, or if you want to see this stuff in detail, be it this expansion or the game itself. Again, I would want to do at least the core game first, but after that I don't care what order it is as long as I don't do Mythos packs and stuff's out of order within expansions within themselves. And if you want to see anything else like this, be it more unboxing videos, my board game overviews, my painting videos, which again I try to get around to for Mansions of Madness, and anything else that I might do on this channel, feel free to subscribe. Regardless, thanks for watching and have a nice day. Bye-bye.